All right, so you probably received an agenda from Andy earlier today, and we're going to do our best to stick to the agenda. When questions come up and we need to kind of go off the trail a little bit, we can do that as needed. I don't know why that keeps popping up. Oh, I don't know why I apologize. You can see that because I can see what's going on as well. I think I ran an update earlier today and it's having issues, but anyway. So we are going to talk about, we're going to go through what I call basic training in the first 90 minutes, and we're going to go from 1 o'clock to 2:30 on the basic training, and then we'll take a break for 15 minutes and we will step into what I call intermediate training. So we're going to start really basic, and you can see, you are able to see my screen here. I'm sure everyone knows how to log in to Bulldog Connect, but if you do not, you would be surprised there are people that may have never actually logged on. So if you do not know how to log in, make sure that if Andy, you're there, Carrie, you're there, if someone has no idea, this is their very first time, make sure that they know how to do that. I'm going to log in right up here at the top and click Login. And I would like you to do the same, obviously. And when you log in, you're going to see over on the left of our page, and as I said, you have just recently updated to eLearning 2.3, so it does look different. Things are looking different. They've made the tools pop out a little bit. Your tabs are popping out. I like the look and feel of it. If you look over here to the left in what I call the navigation pane, or the task pane over on the left, under quick links, you're going to see My Courses. And if you click My Courses, you should see LMS 100 Section 1 and LMS 100 Section 2. I've placed every person that I knew who would be attending the training, I placed you in these two training courses. So Andy, make sure that everyone is in. Everybody sees their course. And what we're going to do, for the next, I'd say, about 5 minutes, you can sit back and watch. I want to walk you through what I call the course overview, and what I'm also calling as the new McPherson template for eLearning for Bulldog Connect. So you can kind of sit and get for a few minutes. Just put your hands in your lap, just relax, and let me just click through some things to show you the difference. So I'm going to go to LMS 100 Section 1. You have that as well. When I click into this is really important. I want you to note, and you've probably seen this before even today, that when you are assigned a new course, this is the page, this is the landing page that you're receiving for your course. You're seeing this. This is what we call, from Jenzabar, the course overview template. So if you were to click onto a future course, let's say your fall course, this is basically the format, the layout that you're seeing. Some institutions love the course overview. Some institutions do not, faculty prefer not to use the course overview. But it basically is just that. It is an overview. It gives you a landing page where you can quickly touch and grab anything that's happening in your course. So at the top, you have announcements at the upper left, latest news to the right. You have a drop-down menu for units, and as you add units to your course, those units are going to fall right here in this drop-down menu. Then under calendar, you'll see every session, every class session that will be assigned to your course. This word class session, for those of you who are wondering about why does that word have to be there, why does class session have to show up, because you notice all of the relevant and important things about our unit are probably going to come after this date and time stamp. We don't even need the LMS 100, so why do we have all this extra stuff in our calendar? And I just want to say real quick that information is coming from the ERP side of your college. In other words, your administrators, it might even be your registrar's office, has set this language up with the default course name and number All of that is set up administratively. Someone has access to a SQL file where this is what's specified. So if you want to change that and get rid of that so that you can see more of the information for your unit, you just have to figure out who owns that universe in Bulldog Connect, who can change that language or just get rid of it altogether. Okay, then also coursework. You have, this is the coursework page, or what they call Portlet, is where you're going to build your assignments. You have resources, and resources are specifically, if I come over here to the navigation panel on the left, my resources are handouts and bookmarks. So anytime you want to add a handout or bookmark to the course overview, using that as your landing page, you're literally clicking on resources and you're adding your handouts and bookmarks as resources. All right, I'm going to come back to our page, front page. And then you have, again, news and discussions, which here would be your forum discussions. Now, I'm not going to go through and walk through how to create or use the course overview, because in a minute, we're going to really dig in and I will show you how to add learning features and move around in Bulldog Connect. I just wanted to show you this overview, because this overview is, like I said, what you receive when you first get your course. And I think as an institution, McPherson needs to determine and decide, is this the landing page? Is this the way we want our courses to look? We need to be consistent for the, for the sake of our faculty, but really for our students. We really need to have a consistent look for our courses so that students aren't confused. They go to the psychology courses and they look like this as a course overview. But if I click on my eLearning, the second section, LMS 100 section 2, I have other courses that look more like this, right? And this would be more of what I would call the traditional course layout, where your main page, and I'm on the main page of a template that I've called the McPherson course template. This is a more traditional look and feel for your courses. And Andy and I were clicking through some of your past and future courses. I was just trying to get a feel for the culture there at McPherson. And I've noticed both. You have some folks that are using this layout, and then you have folks that are using this layout only probably because you're stuck. You're not even sure what you're supposed to do with this layout. There's no definitive start place. There's no course wizard to help you begin to set your course up in this format. So I just want to pause for just a second and just take a couple of questions. What I want to know is, what do you prefer? Do you like the course overview, or do you prefer a more traditional look and feel for your courses?
Yeah, speak up so you can hear you. Oh, sorry. Course overview is really unattractive. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Right now.
And
something we can set independently? Is that something we do? Yeah. Could you show us how to set that?
Yes, absolutely. And if you'll do me a favor, when you all ask questions or make comments, if you can tell me your name, I guarantee you by the end of today, I will probably recognize voices and names. I'll pull it together. I'll actually know who you are. So who is speaking? And tell me, someone said that the course overview is a terrible layout. Who said that?
That was Kim.
Kim. So yes, you're saying this. Tell me what you're thinking. And in the room with you, do you feel you're in? There's an agreement about that.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, it's awful.
Yes, definitely.
I know it's better.
Yeah. And I agree. And listen, I am a private consultant. I don't work for Jenzabar per se. I'm just a consultant for them. So you can tell me anything. You're not going to hurt my feelings, and I'm not married to Jenzabar or anything. I am going to tell you the truth, and I want you to tell me the truth, because they need to hear your feedback. I have been to so many institutions, and I have heard the same thing over and over again, that this just isn't working, that people really like this format. you know. Now you can have, with this format, you know, you can keep the course overview as a page in your course, but have a different front page, you know. So you can have a different landing page, make up another landing page similar to what I have, but still use the course overview. But again, I find that even when institutions do that, students never go to the overview. They would much rather come over here and find where they're supposed to be in the course. Let me walk you through this traditional course, and I'm calling this the McPherson template. This is what I'm calling the new template, just to get your, you know, opinion and your thoughts about this. So I built this course, this main page. This would be the landing page of a course where here you would have an area where you would upload content about yourself, meet the professor. You could put a picture or video there. You have a place to put your course objectives. So this is the main page, the front door, if you will, of your course. I have announcements over here, and I'll talk about this later, but I'm using the blog learning feature. This is really a blog. I think the announcements portlet, the original announcements portlet, is really malfunctioning. It's a malfunctioning portlet. It doesn't really work very well. I love using the blog portlet for announcements, so I'll explain that when we get there. I've added the calendar here. And again, I agree with, I believe it's Carrie, who is trying to, why do we have to have class session eLearn, you know, in the name of the course here? What we really want to see in the calendar is the name of the assignment. So I agree with that. But it is what it is for the moment. Then on the main page, I have a place for handouts and bookmarks. These would be handouts that you would need in general for your course. Okay, like the course syllabus would be on the main page, and any like a PowerPoint that encompasses your whole course that can just sit at the main page. Same thing with bookmarks. These are going to be bookmarks that you would use throughout your course, not for any particular assignment. Then also on this main page, I just added this just to show you what you can do with your main page. Right here, I have what we call I grabbed your student services and disability statement from your website. You can place on your main page all of those non-negotiable things that are required for your syllabi. You can place that on your main page as part of your course content. And what I did was, the student services and disability statement, I actually placed it on your academics tab, Andy, and then I shared it to your template. So that means that if any of this information changes, for instance, if Carol Barr decides to leave the institution and we need to change her name to a new person, you can change the information on the academics tab where it's housed, or where it's being held, and that change will automatically populate to your template as you go forward. So it means that you can always keep your template clean with the latest and greatest information by sharing it from another tab in Bulldog Connect. So that is what I did here. And again, I just to show you what that would look like. This is your main page. And if you look over here to the left on our navigation panel, you see week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So imagine if you would have 15 weeks of a course. So you would have 15 pages, a page for each week. And what institutions like about this layout is that for each week, we can go ahead in the template and build the course for our faculty. So each week looks the same. It's built here. It has many of the same components as your main page, except that now we have weekly objectives. We have an area to tell the students this is what's due this week. These would be handouts just for week 1. These would be bookmarks just for week 1, and this would be your forum discussion just for week 1. And what's nice about this is if we build a template like this for McPherson, we're going to bear the burden of building the course for you by creating the template. Now, as a professor, as a faculty member, all you have to do is go in and add your content. So we're letting you be content specialists, which you are, instead of being course designers, which we are, if that makes sense. And so it takes that cognitive demand away from you of having to build the course. So this is week 1. Week 2 would look the exact same way. The only difference I did here is I just made it a 1-column layout to show you what it would look like as a 1-column layout. I recommend 1-column layouts if you know your students are mobile phone users or iPad users. The 1-column, 2 columns will work. So as week 1 was a 2-column week, and week 2 is a 1-column. 2 columns will work, but you will probably have to just work with your students to show them how to navigate across the 2 columns on a cell phone. They usually figure it out. They're pretty savvy. They actually figure it out quicker than we do. And then again, week 3 is the same. So every week of the course, we've placed the learning features that we think you would need for each week. You don't have to worry about building your course. You can add new features. I'll show you how to add new features to your course, but the heavy work is completed, and now all you have to do is add your content. So what are your thoughts about this?
Question. This is Julia. If we put like the disability disclaimer and stuff on there, does that mean we don't have to include it in the syllabus?
You still would have it in your syllabus, I would think. I don't know if Dr. Clary is there.
Yep, he confirmed that it would still need to be in the syllabus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Question from Ken. So how do we add that part? Or is that something we add? When you say we can add, so it's just student services. It's part of the, right now it's part of the template. So if you were using this template for your course, it would just be there. It'd be there. If it's something that you want to add, the way that Jen has done it, I'd have to show you how to do that. Okay, so good enough. So we don't add that. She can add it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And here's the thing too. I did notice on your website you have. Oh, is someone talking? Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Rod, I'm concerned that if I go to the work of laying out week 1, week 2, week 3, and then I'm ill for a day, or we have a snow day, does the entire future need to be revised?
No, you would do one of 2 things. You could go to your main page and under announcements, tell them as a result of our snow day, please remain in week 2. Do not move on to week 3 course materials. That would be one way you could do it. The other way would be that over here under week 1, you can always come up here, and I'll show you how to do this. We're going to actually walk through this together. You can change, and I have it as week 1, but you can name this anything. This could be week 1, and then if you can see where I'm typing at the bottom, I'm changing the name of that page. I can say, what's today's date, by the way? The 24th? Yes. So I can add a date there. I can say session 1. I can rename this page and say snow day. I don't know why this keeps popping up. I don't know why that's popping up. Move it out the way. But you can change the name so that it gives more clarity to your students.
So I think, Rod, in answer to your question, the units aren't defined by a date range. It's more defined by sequence. Yeah.
Oh, correct. Yes. That is correct. Right.
So we don't put any dates on them. You could put dates on them if you wanted to. We have to revise them.
Right. All right. I hear lots of discussion. Andy, what are your thoughts?
I got another question. I have another question. This is Ken. On an individual faculty member's page, can we opt out of that? The week 1 layout and that stuff, or is that thing? Because I don't want to leave a huge section empty that I'm not going to populate.
So you're saying if you don't have any let's say week 2, they're really just finishing week 1?
I'm not going to put it on. I choose not to use LMS for that content. Is there a way so it doesn't show when they go to my page?
Yes, yeah. You can hide the page, or under weekly objectives for week 2, you could leave it in your course and just under weekly objectives in bold letters say there's no, continue working on week 1 content. Please observe my office hours if you need any assistance, or however you want to phrase it,
Yeah. So
but
the
you
question
can,
is, how do we hide the page, Jen?
how do we do what? I'm sorry?
Hide the page?
Okay, so I will show you how to do all of that. That is coming. I will show, but I think the big question is this the direction you would like to move towards? Because I did notice on your website you do, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do have like some summer online courses coming, right? Correct?
They're not taught by our faculty.
Okay, but they're using the same, they're using Bulldog Connect?
No.
Okay.
No, they're strictly online, and they're through other institutions.
I
online
got it.
programs.
Okay. Okay. So you're thinking, yeah, so you want to use Bulldog Connect in a way that's going to obviously make your life easier. But I want to say that the other piece to this is the students. Your students really, really want you to be using this tool. They want you to use it. And if I can just take a moment and just tell you, I have my own children who have been using a learning management system since they were in the 5th grade, and now one just graduated from high school last night, and another's a junior in high school. So since grade 5, they've been using something like Bulldog Connect, whether it was Canvas or Edsby or Moodle. Our school system has had a learning management system. They've been able to access their course assignments since 5th grade on their own from their computer, and now they access everything from their phone. So you're dealing with a population of students that are graduating from high school, especially the group that's coming out in the next 5 years, who only know how to learn like this. They only know how to do their work in this format. They want to know what their grades are. They don't want to have to go to your office to ask you about their grades. They want to be able to find a grade book in the learning management system, find their grades. They want to be able to do their work at all hours of the night, at 2 in the morning. So they want to be able to go to the learning management system and go click on week 2, and it's 2 in the morning, but they're ready to do their homework. That's the group of students that you're dealing with. So while I want you to always think about, yes, I want this to be comfortable for me, I do want you to remember your clientele, and they're coming in masses to you. And so as we move on to the next section of this training, I want you to think about those students that really want everything to be laid out here. They don't want to have to come to your class to find out what they have to do. So that's my little speech for this afternoon. Before we move on, are there any comments, or anybody would like to comment on what I just said?
This is Kim again. We're already doing that. Like, students have a syllabus. The syllabus is online. They don't have to come to us to find out what to do. God forbid they should have to talk to us. And, they already know that. But
Right.
I think we're not assuming, Jen, that we're not that they're going to have to deal orally with us for assignments. Like, they've already got that. The question
Right.
is whether this is the way to do it or not.
Right. And only you can answer that as an institution. But it's a great time to have that conversation, because you would want consistency across the board. You don't want your students going to one group of courses and no one is using their learning management system at all. Then you go to another group of courses and everyone is using it, or they only use it, or they're using the course overview, but everybody else is using a traditional looking template. So this is a good time. You're going into the summer, and we can't make the decision today, but it is definitely something I would love for you to think about and come up with some, real clear decisions for how you want to approach this. And I'll be around. I'll be available to help you and coach you along the way. So, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of stay right here in this LMS 100 course, section 2. So if you are at your computer, you can go ahead and open up section 2. And we're going to actually, I'm going to have you, instead of having you go to your future course and try to create content in your future course, we're going to actually build content together in this course. So it'll be a little more light-hearty. You can't mess up anything in this course. You can't break anything in this course. We're just going to play and have fun while you're learning how to use the tool. Okay? I do want to show you, though, just so you'll know, because things are looking different with the update. If you go to the faculty tab, I want to draw your attention to this, just that if you click on your faculty tab, you can find your current, past, and future courses on the faculty tab. You might have always been able to do that, but it just looks different, you know. So I just want to let you know that you can still find this on the faculty tab. We'll talk about this later, but grade entry is also on your faculty tab as well. All right, but if you see future courses, if you're looking at your future courses, you can feel free to open those today, but we will use the traditional template since everyone was more positive about that, and we're going to use that just to build fun content today as a group. So let me go back to our section 2. All right, so what we want to do is, over here, underneath our navigation panel, you see 4 tools. You have Add a Page, Course Manager, Usage Statistics, and Copy Courses. Okay, very important. Those are 4 very important tools that we're going to talk about today. They look a little different. You might remember Course Manager. It used to be Course or Context Manager. You know, the world of higher education did not understand what Context Manager meant. So they changed the name to Course Manager, which makes so much sense. So we're going to spend a lot of time in Course Manager as well. Right above that, though, I want you to see where it says Add a Page, and I'd like everybody to do this together. I'm going to click Add a Page. I want you to click and add a page. And right here in this window, and this is exactly how you would be building your course. If you wanted to create your own pages, build your course and not go with the template, but build your own course, this is basically how you would do it. Click Add a Page, and then where it says Add a Page, I want you, or in that window, I want you to type your name. It can be your first name, your full name, but we're going to name our page our name, obviously. And then for the feature, we have to assign the page a feature so that it exists in Bulldog Connect, okay? So I want you to select as your feature the freeform content feature. And I'll go through all of these other features in a minute, but click freeform content. And we're all doing this at the same time. So I got the redirected, probably because we're all trying to do it at one time. It's very possible. Just pop back in the course and go back. So yeah, you see everybody, we do have pages, so that's great. We have Becky, Julia, Ken, Carrie, Kirk, Matt, Amber, Rod, Jinbi King, Nathan, Kim. And if we refresh, if you don't see your page, but you know you created it, you can just come up here and reload the page or refresh the page. And now we've added Kim Stanley at the bottom. So any questions about that? We're good, right? So we just added our own page to this course. Now I want you, for the duration of our course, our time today, we're going to be in our course. I want you to be working within your page, I should say. So click on your page, and I've clicked on mine, and this is what you see. So remember, we added a page, we named the page ourselves, our names, obviously. When you add your page, you might be adding week 1, week 2. You might be adding, you know, a course video page. It could be whatever you want, you feel like you need it to be. We created it as a freeform content page so that with freeform content, it's my favorite feature in eLearning because you can add anything to freeform. It's freeform. You can do anything within the freeform content. In fact, we're going to add features to this page, and we can do that because we made it a freeform content page. So right over here, this is definitely different than the other previous version of eLearning, that if you click this little gear in the upper right-hand corner, it drops down or gives you a drop-down menu with options for how we're going to actually build our course. So we have preference, access, options, settings, rearrange, Moxie manager. All of those were there before. It just looks different, and we have to click the gear to get to it. Under options, and I want you to think for a second, you're on your page and you're going to add options to your page, okay? So it's only going to impact your page. When you click options, it tells us this is a free-form content page called your name. And then if you scroll down a little further, you're going to see add a new feature to this page and share an existing feature to this page. We're going to click this link that says add a new feature to this page. And we should see, as you see on my screen, a list of those features. We had just seen these. So these features should make, pretty common sense, they're pretty common sense. But what I would say, let me just address a couple of them. Blog is what I like to use for announcements, okay? And I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Let's see, chat. The chat feature is way improved. Like, it's a huge improved tool than what we had before. Now, chat, though, it has to be that it's real-time chat. So everyone is online at the same time engaging in a chat. That's what you need to, understand about chat. So if you want everyone to chat together, that's a tool that you can use. And like I said, it's way improved than what we used to have. Forums is another form of discussion. Chat is everyone real time. Forums means that I'm going to give you a prompt and I want you all to discuss this at your leisure. So forums are really a really great tool to enhance collaboration and interaction in your courses. And there's also some fun ways you can use forums, even if you're a face-to-face college, which you are primarily. There's some ways you can use forums in a face-to-face way to create more, team building and engagement with your students. And then the last one I want to bring attention to is roster. Roster really is that. It's a roster of everyone that's in the course, but that's also how you're going to email people in your class. So I'll show you in our template, I added roster to our course, but I just renamed it email because no one knows what roster means. But if you just rename it email, everybody knows what that means. Underneath roster, we have learning features. Course content import is if you are using course cartridges, you would want to add this learning feature because it is a tool that allows you to pull content in from course cartridges or test banks, okay? The course organizer, that's the course organizer that we really don't like, but there it is, okay? That is the course organizer. Coursework is how you add assignments to your course. Gradebook is, of course, how you assign grades and get those grades submitted to your registrar at the end of the semester. And then learning tools, this is important. I did notice that you all are using some learning tools, but learning tools, this is specific to tools which we call, that have LTI, Learning Tool Interoperability. These are tools that have a LTI certification of, I think we're at 1.2. So tools that are out there that have a LTI of 1.2, they can integrate with one another. So eLearning or Bulldog Connect is LTI 1.2. Other tools like, for instance, Chalk and Wire, I work very closely with Chalk and Wire Assessment. They are LTI. So Chalk and Wire and LTI integrate seamlessly because of that certification. I don't know if I heard an yay, great, or a...
There was a question about what an example of a learning tool might be that we might use in one of our courses.
Let's see, Turnitin.com. If you're familiar with Turnitin.com, Chalk and Wire, that's an electronic portfolio. Let's see, other LTIs that are Cengage is LTI, so that's a textbook that has a online
Third party don't have. Yeah. So Jen, all of those would be third-party applications that we would have to purchase an account through, like Turnitin is a.
Yes.
Plagiarism, thank you. I couldn't come up with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. And so if you have a an account or subscription with the third-party tool that is LTI certified, we can integrate it seamlessly with Bulldog Connect so that the students, they can be in your course, click a link, and they get dropped into that other tool, and they don't really even know that they left your Bulldog Connect. It's just they click and now they're dropped in, and then they go back to Bulldog Connect. Okay. All right, so you're welcome. All right, so let's add features to our pages, right? So we're going to add, I want you to add a blog. So click on blog and you're going to add that to your page. One of the things I wish they would allow you to do is select multiple features so that you don't have to come back to add a new feature and then go down the list again, but they haven't done that yet. I want you to add a bookmarks. Go back to add a new feature. I want you to add forums. Go back, add a new feature. Free-form content. Add a new feature and add handouts. Is that a question?
That was my cell phone.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now you see we have these features that we've added to our course. So that's really, we just built a page in our course. Pretty easy. Also, let me just show you, we were adding a new feature. Right underneath that link, it says share an existing feature. Just note to self that, remember on the main page when I shared the disability statement from the academics tab to the main page, that's how I did it. I won't go into clicking on it and showing you how to do it. It's not that complicated, but it would take up too much time. But that's how I shared that content from the academics tab to the main page. Okay. Now, if you look at your features, and let me enlarge my screen. If you want to rename your features, all you have to do is click on the feature, and notice I clicked on blog, and instead of calling it blog, I'm going to say announcements. Or I could call it news or whatever I wanted to call it. So I'm going to type the new name. I would click the box, use this name, or if I didn't want that feature anymore, I could delete the blog or delete that feature also in this box. I'm going to also go to the freeform content, and I'm going to click on that. And freeform content, again, it's that feature that you can do anything with. For our page, I want you to just say about myself. Whoops, there we go. So freeform content, we're going to change the name to about myself. Okay. Now on this page that we're working in, if you scroll down, you can go directly to changing the layout of your page here, and you can also go. You can also rearrange the features of your page right here, right from this particular page. You can also rename your page right here. What I want you to do is, I don't want you to do any of that at the moment. I want you to just go back to your page and let's just see what things look like the way they are at the moment. So I'm going to click back to Jen King. You're going to click back to your name. And then you're going to kind of get a feel for what you've just created. Okay, scroll down. And right now we're using, it defaults to one column. So I'm going to show you how to change that. Is everybody good? Yes.
How do you arrange the order that you want it in?
She's going to do that right now.
Oh, just kidding. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm going to show you that right now. Who was that?
Julia.
Julia. Okay. So Julia, this is how you're going to do that. Let me enlarge my screen again. While you're on your page, you're going to come up here to the little drill or wrench, excuse me, in the upper right-hand corner to get this the menu again. We were under options. That's how we add. So remember, options is how we add features. We add pages and we can add, or excuse me, once we've added our page, we can add features to that page. We want to go to layout. Let's take a look at the layout real quick before we go to rearrange, because you can have different layouts. I love the 2-column side-by-side layout. But again, like I said, if you know you have a lot of mobile users, 2 columns you'll have to explain to your students that it may look a little weird, but you'll get used to what 2 columns look like on your mobile phone. When you click 2 columns, you'll notice it's still 1 column. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I just changed it to 2 columns. Well, you did. Once you change your layout, then you have to rearrange that layout to fit into the column, schema that you selected. So now I want you to go back to the wrench, select rearrange. Okay. And what I do love this in eLearning. You can just drag and drop and move things around. So if you notice, as I drag something to the top or left, I can get a little yellow box shows up and it allows me to move things around. If you can't find the yellow box, sometimes it takes a while for it to pop up. Just move up and then move back down to get to the yellow box to work. So you're going to move things around, and I don't care where you move it. I just want you to move them around so you get a feel for this. And once you like your layout and your rearrangement, you're going to come up to the top, and this is important, come up to the very top of the page and click Save Changes. Okay, so we're good? I will take that. Sure.
Can you go back to the layout?
Sure.
Not lay, I'm sorry, I meant rearrange. Sorry.
That's okay. Rearrange. Okay.
I find, can you click on the use this window option?
Yes.
I find this option easier for me to rearrange accordingly. I click on, let's say I want handouts. If I click on handouts and I drag it over here, it will put it on the second column. Where'd you go to get that?
Right.
So when you're on the rearrange page, there's this use this window. I find that easier when I'm trying to move stuff around and I want to put it in a specific order. Sometimes the drag and drop doesn't work as well as I'd like it to.
Okay. I like that. This is the way we used to do it before they had the drag and drop. So
I also think if you're working on a laptop with a touch pad, I think this would be a whole lot easier than trying to move and drag and drop at the same time.
I agree. I like that. Thanks for bringing that up. Anything else? Any questions about layout, rearrange, drag and drop? Use this window.
I've used the system a lot, and the one thing that I really dislike and change is the units or the title pages that are hard to see in comparison to the really bright red edit. When you look at the student view, it says download, and it's hard. Is there a way that I can highlight my type pages?
So when you say type pages, what does that mean?
This before that really stood out, and when the students go to their page, what they see is download or visit.
Right.
As a primary icon, rather than like if I have my website, I would like to have like those more highlight. Well, no, like these. I mean, I write it down.
Headers.
The other headers.
So the headers,
It's just,
it's a site, that's a site-wide thing.
yeah,
So-
it's just that the download and the visit are the main things that they see, and I think you have to struggle to find what you're looking for to download.
So Jen, if you go to a Handouts page, and if you had something in there.
Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have anything in my handouts yet. So what we'll do is we'll add some content, and we will. Oops, that's never fun. We'll add content and then we'll play with that. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying, and there's certain things you just can't change. These are like the buttons, these the you know, I guess you would say the title bars, the buttons. That is part of your eLearning 2.3 GUI interface. You could change colors, but then again, you would work with the Jenzabar support team, and if you want more contrast in certain areas, they can show you, they can help you build out your, create a theme or tweak your theme so that you can have more contrast in certain areas. And that is probably something you would do with Jenzabar support. But for the most part, what you see, that's pretty much what you get. The buttons, the links, that's just how it will look until they decide to update it again.
So Jen, I do have a quick question for you.
Yes.
In the handouts and in the bookmarks, when it's in this 2-column setup, or in the 1 column, it always shows up as the box view instead of the list view.
Right. It defaults to the box instead of the list.
And so if I click on it, then it opens that portlet, and then
Yeah.
okay, it's doing it differently. Yeah. So is there a way to default that?
In other words, make it always open as a list?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my point.
That is not, let me think. That is a support question. In other words, no, there's nothing we can do to make that happen. I think that's a great improvement that they should have with the tool. So those are some things. What I'm doing too is as you state some things, in this training, like that's a good one. I'm going to keep a running list because Jenzabar needs to hear about this. So the answer to that question is no. It always will default to what I call the thumbnail view as opposed to the list view. Let me write that down. All right. So let's add some more content. Are we ready to continue?
Yes, I think so.
All right. So I'm back on my page. I am in a 1-column view. I changed my column. So I want you to find the freeform content portlet that you labeled or renamed About Myself. And we're going to add some content about ourselves, essentially. So find that portlet, and here we have, you can add content in the following ways. You can create your own content. You can load it from a server file if McPherson has server file access in that way, or you can show external remote content, again, that's set up through your IT department. For the most part, we would be going to create content. So let's click Create Content. And when we create content, we get a header. So if we want to have a header, and let's just say my header, since this is about myself, I'm going to type my name as the header. So before or above anything else that I add in this portlet, you'll see a header that says Dr. Jennifer King. And then I'm going to navigate out here in my Word document, and I'm just going to grab my bio, copy my bio. So I just literally opened up Microsoft Word, copied a pre-written biography about myself, and I'm going to click into what I call the text editor and paste that information in. Now, this is an update for eLearning 3 or 2.3. For paste formatting options, this is great. Choose to keep or remove formatting in the pasted content. So I can remove the formatting. I can remove all of that, any extra Microsoft Word formatting that was in the original document, or I can keep the formatting. I'm going to keep it because I have no idea why it wouldn't work in either way. But that's a really great tool because we used to copy and paste things into the text editor, and it was just a hot mess. The other way you could get rid of the formatting too is if you highlight your text once you paste it, and if you come up here to the capital T little X tool, it's really the clear formatting tool right up here. That will also clear any Microsoft Word formatting as well. So when I click clear, it just defaults my text to what eLearning has defaulted it. It's set up in our system to default to Verdana font, or I can change my font. So if I'm not a Verdana person, I can be Tahoma or whatever is here in our drop-down menu. It also defaults to 11 point, which was a major request for the last couple of years. It used to default to 8 point, and it was way too small, and folks just weren't aware that the font was just way too small, that it was actually defaulting just way too small for even students to even see it. So now they have it defaulting to 11 point. So it's not as large as 12, but it's not as small as 8. And that also complies to like the ADA compliance and that type of thing. It aligns with ADA to have 11 point. So there you go. So that's my font, and I can, or I should say my text, if I highlight anything, just like in Microsoft Word, I can use the tools to make it bold, italicized, underlined. I can change the text color. I can change the background color. All of those things. I can also, align my text, add bulleted or numbered lists, and then we'll get into some of these other tools in a little bit. So I have my text, and I'm going to click Save. And this is what it looks like on the page. Okay. If I go back to the page itself, this is what it looks like as a freeform content portlet. But if I actually click on my page, go back to my page, I'm going to go up here to the breadcrumb trail up at the top and click on section 2 and then go back to my page. There we go. It's just gigantic. All right. So does everyone have, if you have any text that you can just copy and paste, let's try to do that together. If I want to come back and edit what I've done, I would come over here to the link, edit content. So I'm going to click on that. And over here above the portlet, you'll see a pencil and a garbage can. If you click the pencil, you can actually edit what you inserted into the portlet. So again, you can type or you can copy and paste. So I am typing some extra text. All right. So you can, like I said, paste or type. Any questions? Pretty easy stuff, I think. All right, I'm going to click Save and exit the edit mode. All right, and go back to my page. So everybody is good? I don't hear any noise, so I'm assuming that everybody is good.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, so then let's add a picture. I'm going to actually add a picture of myself. All right, I can add a picture to the content here that I've typed. I can go back to edit content and add an image, but I'm going to go ahead and you probably have another freeform content page, or portlet I should say, on your page. Remember that the page itself is a free-form content portlet. So that gives you one free-form content area to work with your page. Then we added a second free-form content and named it About Myself. That's why you have two free-form content portlets on your page. So if you can find or locate the second one, we're going to repeat the same steps, but this time we're going to add an image. So I'm going to select Create Content. And this time I'm going to add an image without a header. So instead of using the header text here, I don't need header text. I'm just going to add a picture. There are two ways to add an image. The first way is right here in your menu. You'll see the Insert Edit Image tool. I want you to click on that tool. Now, obviously, you have to go out and find the image that you want to use. You have to have it somewhere. It's looking for you, wants you to browse and find something as your image, and it opens up to what we call Moxie Manager. So Moxie Manager is eLearning's solution for OneDrive or Google Drive. Think of Moxie Manager as eLearning OneDrive. It allows you to, everything that you upload for your courses can be stored right here in Moxie Manager. Notice I don't have anything in my Moxie Manager. I haven't uploaded anything. It's because I'm working in LMS Section 2, it's giving me a folder for that particular course. So I could come up here to create new folders. I can have a Moxie Manager folder for each of my courses so that I can keep all of my relevant course materials together with the course that they belong in. Or I can just let them upload, free-form upload into Moxie Manager right here in this general window. I'm going to keep it in my Section 2 folder and come up to Upload at the top. And now I need to go find my content. And I got really organized today, and now I got to remember my organization method because I put everything in a folder. Here we go. That's it. Jenzabar and McPherson. Here we go. So here's an image. This is actually a picture of my son. This was taken last night at graduation. So it has grabbed that picture, and it's now in my Section 2 folder of Moxie Manager. All right. I'm going to select the Insert button at the bottom right-hand corner, and notice that it's going to constrain. It's already giving me my dimensions, and it's going to constrain the proportions of the picture, basically. But I can change this if I need to. I can resize this if I have to. I can also add a caption if I want to the picture as well. If I hit OK, there's the picture. And notice it gives me handles. So if I do want to resize, I can actually resize right here within my window. Okay. And I'm going to select Save. And those are my boys. Now I'm going to come back to my page. Any questions about these steps that I've taken so far?
Hold on just a second, Jen.
Okay.
So Jim, the question is, for one of our users, down above the Save button, it has the Add Image option.
Oh, right.
That button does not exist for her. So that's your question.
All right. I was going to address that, actually. That's the next thing I'm going to talk about. I'm going to save this. All right, what I did, I added the image also to to my very first portlet, just so you can see the pluses and minuses, right? The good and the bad. So when you add a picture and text in the same portlet, eLearning, or I should say, this particular tool does not have text wrap. So as much as you're going to want to wrap that text around your picture, you just can't do it. So it is what it is. That's why I always often put my pictures, and sometimes I'll line up pictures next to each other just to do something with this extra awful white space that you get on the page, because I would put the picture in a separate portlet so that it doesn't look goofy without a text wrap. That's just one of my pet peeves. My background is graphic design, so the white space just drives me nuts, but it is what it is.
So Jan,
mm-hmm.
and this is Bruce. Just a question. I know this isn't relevant for everybody, but is the CSS support better this time in the HTML editing mode?
It should be. I can't confirm that, but it should be. It should be.
Sure. Yeah, you do have access to the HTML.
Yeah.
Yeah. Use your bracket, the little bracket icon that you have there in your text editor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to show you some of that in a minute, so don't jump too far ahead. But it should be better. I mean, I don't really know, Bruce, but I would think it would be better. But let's see if it is.
That would be a way to wrap text for folks who know CSS.
Right. And the average person doesn't know it, and I don't usually worry with it that much. But if you want to do it, if you can do it, absolutely. And it should be cleaner. They're telling me that it's better, but I don't know. Now, you were saying too, I don't know, was it Bruce or it was someone else? You're saying that you don't have this add images button here underneath the text editor?
Yeah, Julia is the lucky recipient today. She doesn't have the add images button.
Does anyone have it?
Yep.
Everybody else?
Yep.
Everyone else but Julia.
She's special.
She's special. That is weird. I don't know why you wouldn't have it. The difference between
how do I use images, but that little add images clickable box is not there.
Right. And you probably don't want to use this add images anyway, and I'll tell you why. When you click on add images and you go out to find the image, when you use add images, it's going to make that image just a little thumbnail. You see, it's just a thumbnail. And if you want to, and so the whole idea is that you click on the thumbnail and the picture expands. The only time I use this add images is, let's say, I like to, when I'm building my own courses, I like to put, instead of my picture, I like to put images of my kids or something I did on the weekend, so that they can students can kind of get to know the other side of me, that I'm not just this professor. I'm also a mom, or I'm an athlete, or whatever. So I like to put those fun family pictures up here, but for this add images, that's where I'll put my professional, photo, because I do want them to see that I have a professional photo, but this is who I really am day to day. So the thumbnail, if you don't have add images, it's probably, you shouldn't lose sleep over it. It's just going to only give you this little thumbnail.
It might be a browser thing. I just opened it in Chrome and it is there. So I'm in Safari.
Oh yeah, it's Safari. It's Safari. I'm surprised you got as far as you did in Safari, actually. When I used Safari yesterday after the update, Andy, I had so many issues. I thought, oh no, this update is not going to go well. Something's going on. I mean, Safari, it was just a hot mess. And I thought, well, let me go into Google Chrome, and it was perfect in Google Chrome.
Jen?
Yes?
This is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
The problem we might have is a lot of students are going to be using iPhones and Safari is standard. Is that going to be a problem?
Well, it could be. In other words, they might be missing a link. They might not see a link, or it might not even show up in Safari for whatever reason, because of the nature of that browser. And I would tell them, and I would put it on the main page of your course, or you would put it here, and I would actually put it as a shared statement. In addition to disability statement, I would put right here as a shared statement, a statement about the preferred browser to use. If you're using your mobile phone or a tablet, you need to do this. Add a screenshot of what it should look like when they're using the mobile version of of the course. Because yeah, that does happen, and you're just gonna have to tell your students, well, switch browsers.
Okay.
If they're using PCs, they definitely need to use Mozilla or Google Chrome. If anyone is still using Internet Explorer, tell them run for the hills. Don't use Internet Explorer, because they're not even they're not even updating Internet Explorer anymore. So anyone that's using Explorer will always have problems with e-learning. All right, keep going.
Keep going.
All right. I think everyone is clicking along. So we've added custom content. We've added pictures. So let's go back in, and since we're here, we're talking about it. I'm going to go to edit content. This is a more advanced notion. I'm going to add a video. So I want to just show you how you would add the video, but you don't have to do this yourself. This would be more advanced training, but I feel like we do need to show you how to do that real quick. So I removed the picture, and I'm going to go over here to my YouTube channel, and these are different lecture captures or introductions of myself over the years that I've posted to YouTube. So if I go to any of these and I pause that, it's always hard to see yourself in a video, isn't it? Oh gosh. But anyways, so if you get to your YouTube and you click on your video, when you scroll down to underneath your video, and this would be the same if you're using Vimeo or any other video hosting site, it's pretty much the same steps. You're going to find the share tool. Click on share, and you can share a video via a link, which is shown here, or embed, or of course email. We want to select embed. So if you can find the embed code for your video, and really for any web tool, like if you're using Quizlet, or if you are a Prezi person, you like to use Prezi.com, if you can find your embed code for those tools, that is what we want to find. We're going to copy the embed code. So you can't see it, but here we go. I'm going to copy that code right there, go back to my page, and click the source code tool. That's what I call the little carrots. This is the source code tool. The double carrots, click on that, and we're going to paste that code, that embed code, right there in that window, and hit OK. And there's my video. To resize it, you have to, let me think, how do you do the resizing? No, that's not what I wanted to do. It used to be that you could click and drag at the corners, but now you actually have to go in. Oh, I know how you do it. Go back to the code itself, and if you need to resize it, you actually have to do it right here, the width and height in the code itself. Okay, and I just say subtract 100 from the width and subtract 100 from the height. Just keep it proportion on both ends. Hit OK, and then hit save. And now we have a video as part of our course. And that was pretty simple. It was 3 steps: share, copy embed code, paste in source code. 3 steps. That's it. And it's going to always be those 3 steps for every web tool that you're using, whether it's embedding video, or like I said, if you're using Prezi, Quizlet, or any kind of tool like that, It's just that simple. Okay, we're good?
Anybody have any questions? It looks like we're good.
All right, we're good. All right,
Oh,
so now,
okay, sorry.
oh, we
Sorry,
got
we do have one.
Okay.
Can you upload a video or does it have to be a video?
No,
So-
do not upload the video.
Okay.
You could try, but it's going to error out because we've got size limits on the uploads that are pretty darn small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just upload it to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
I only am getting the link.
So I can't hear that question. I think someone said they had a question.
Yeah, and Andy's working with Kirk on embedding the code.
Okay.
I think he just got the link. He got the link instead of the embed code.
Right. You have to get the embed code. That's correct. That was Bruce, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
All right. You're welcome. So I don't want you to get too bogged down in the video. I just want you to know you can do this. You can embed a lot of great, rich stuff. And we went from having a kind of a boring looking class page, main page, right? So now we have something that's looking kind of like robust here. We've got fun content. You've got an engaging video. So we can really, you know, make our courses look pretty savvy if we know how to do it. I'm going to jump down to bookmarks and handouts. So let's start with handouts. I will tell you, and Andy and I had a very, very long discussion about the look of the new handouts and bookmarks portlet. I don't know what they're thinking on how this design will work for faculty. We'll go through it, but this is the way the new bookmarks and handouts are going to look. You cannot get rid of week 1 unit. You can change the name, and same with ungroup. You can't delete the default sets, we would call them, in bookmarks and handouts. You can only rename those default sets, but you can always add sets, new sets, and delete new sets. So let's start with handouts. We're going to add a handout, and I'm adding it under week 1. And again, let me enlarge my screen. So this is all very new. I kind of like what they've done here. It makes it a lot more user-friendly. What is the name of your handout? And I'm just going to call this, I'm going to upload our training agenda as a handout. If I could type. What file should we use? So do I want to find the file in my Moxie manager, or do I want to grab that file from my computer? So I want to get it from my computer because it's not in my Moxie manager yet. I'm going to select choose the file, go up here and grab the PDF, and I'm going to hold my shift key or command key. Let's see if I can, no, it will not let me upload multiple documents. I was hoping I could do that. So I'm going to grab my PDF for training, hit open. It's right now sitting in either week 1 or ungrouped, okay? Those are the sets. Now, a set is how we organize our handouts and our bookmarks. So if you were, let's say, in week 1 of your course, you would put all of your handouts under week 1 handouts, or your bookmarks under week 1 bookmarks. We're going to just use, for now, this default week 1. I can add a description here if I want to. I don't have to. May 24 training agenda. Okay, I could also notice here too that you can embed a video. If I wanted to add a video here, if I wanted to link to a website, I can do that right here as well. So this text editor still allows me to do anything I want to do, as with the custom content. Then underneath your text editor, it asks you when. When do you want to start the display of that handout? You can display it now or have it display later, which means you're going to come back and tell the system when to display it. Or you can click display on, and it gives you a calendar for you to specify when you want that handout to show up in your course. I'm going to have it display now. And when do I want it to end? So no end date, just end it now, and I can either make it inactive or delete it, or I can tell the tool again using the calendar when I want the handout to end. Okay, I can also click here to make the link shareable to others if I give them permission to use my handout, but I'm going to deselect that. I can save or save and add another. I'm just going to select save. Oops, I need to go back to no end date and then save. And that's what it looks like. So remember, this is the handouts page here. On my page itself, on my Jen B. King page, it would look like this over here on the right. And you can see that I'm in the wrong person's, I'm in somebody else's page. Here we go. So if I go scroll down, reduce my screen, yeah, there's my handouts. Okay, I don't like the look of it. I think it's a lot of wasted space, but that is the new handouts portlet. Now it's interesting. One thing I've discovered is that, and I think this is a glitch, somebody in the course has changed and named their handout syllabus, and it's picking up that name on my handouts portlet. It's I'm trying to. It's either that or someone was accidentally on my page and just changed it for me. I don't know.
I thought it was my page. The next view is much tidier than that view.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you look over here in the right-hand corner of any of your handouts portlet, right now we're looking at this as a thumbnail view. We can look at this in the list view. So I clicked list, and now it should show up for me as a list. And in the list, it gives me a title. It gives me the title of the file, the description that I added, a file type, and it gives me a place where I can delete it. Now notice I cannot, oh, that's nice.
That wasn't you, but
That's okay.
But the guy across the room.
That's okay. But you know, this actually echoes my sentiments when I look at this portlet, because I think it's idiotic. It's frustrating because you cannot, they're giving you two default sets. One that's called Unit 1 and one that's called Ungrouped. You can't delete, yeah?
I was going to ask, what does that look like from the student view? What does this list view look like when the student takes a look at it?
Let's do that together. If you scroll up to the top of your page and in the upper right-hand corner, you can switch your view to student and then click change view. Now, oh, I forgot to tell you. Now let me pause. I actually jumped the gun because one of the things I need to show you is access. So you'll notice that in our course, everything we've created is not viewable to the student. So we were gonna touch base. We're actually gonna touch on that actually in the next 5 minutes. But let's see, where would I find that? Bruce, will you remind me to show you that in a minute? I'm gonna show you the student access.
Yeah, I'm just curious because it looks like that might be the preferred
Yes.
preferred view. And I would interject and say, if you're going to put dates on your assignments, please make sure that you put it past the end of the semester.
Yes.
One faculty this time around that sent in a frantic email on Saturday afternoon, all my handouts have disappeared. They're all deleted. What we found was he put the date was too early. It was the 11th instead of the 15th. So everything disappeared on it. And it doesn't show you anything until you start adding those back in. And we caught he was putting the same date that he had put in before.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's go over to bookmarks real quick, and we would add a bookmark. So if I click add a bookmark, I could give the bookmark a name. So I'm going to use my website. And then I want to go out and find the address, the web address. Right. So if you have a website that you're using, that you want to add to your course as a bookmark, you're just going to copy that address up, up here in the address window, go back to bookmarks, and then where it says what is the URL of the bookmark, you're going to paste that. You're going to paste that URL address right there into the window. You're going to place it in the set that you want for your bookmarks. You can add a description. The when apply is the same thing as with Handouts, and then hit save. Okay, and so that's the link that would go to the website that I just created. When I come back to my page, this is what the page is looking like from the professor's perspective. Now notice again, it's giving you, for Handouts and Bookmarks, you are getting a defaulted set, which you can't delete. You need to go in and just edit the set name for Unit 1 and Ungrouped. Same thing with Handouts. Use Unit 1, but just change the name. Use Ungrouped, but just change the name. And if you have more sets to add, let's say I'm going to add a set for under Bookmarks, and I'm going to call these funny videos, and I'm just going to link my students to just some funny videos. Notice I added this funny videos as a new set where now I can add a bookmark if I want to. But here I can actually delete this set if I want to. I'm not able to delete the default sets. So please,
Jen,
yes.
Sorry, I have a thought on this. So it defaults on student view not to show empty sets. So if you have a set that's empty and it's just hanging out there in your view, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Go to preferences there. So you can open your preferences on bookmarks. I was actually doing it on a handout. Bookmarks does it as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, they might want to see it. And it should be under preferences.
Under the bookmark preferences? Okay, for this page.
Yes.
Okay.
But certainly the Handouts does it.
I wonder if Bookmarks does it.
I'm guessing. It was near the bottom. So you see the last one showing these sets. That defaults to unclicked.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you have an empty ungrouped set hanging out. It's not going to bother the students because they're never going to see it.
Thank you, Carrie. And this is also nice too. I forgot to mention this, that you can order them alphabetically too by going to preferences. But you have to be in the portlet that you're working in. So we're in this bookmark portlet. You come over here to the gear associated, or the wrench associated with this portlet, and then you can manipulate the preferences that way. So as we land the plane for this first session, what I want to show you is that if you watch with me for a second, I'm going to go back to my course. I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to the main page of our course even. And if I change up here in the upper right-hand corner the view to student view, you'll notice that our students, they can view the main page, but they're not seeing other people's pages. They're getting Rod's page, and maybe Rod figured out how to give his students access to the page. And when I built this course, I went in and gave the students access to, everything that was currently there. But anything you add, and this is important, anything that you add to a course is not visible or accessible to students until you give them permission or access. So you can build all day, and you can sit back and love your course, and then that course goes live, and then your students are going to be sending you emails that say, you said to add a forum discussion, but I don't see the forum, or I don't see week 3, I don't even see what you're talking about. So you can see that here I am in the student view, I've lost all of the pages. I don't see any of the pages. So there's a couple of ways to work with this. There's permissions and there's access, okay? If you go, I'm going to come back out of the student view and go back to regular view. And I want to go over to Course Manager. This is a good time to talk about the Course Manager. If you'll click on Course Manager, you're going to see, I want you to go to Pages, the Pages tab. And this, first and foremost, this shows you all the pages of your course. So you can change the order that you want your pages in. Right now we have, I'm going to make the main page our default page, our default main page, or our default landing page, I should say. But you can make any page here in your course the main page, okay, or I should say the landing page that you see first. You can change the order of your pages, and here, this is where you can edit the names of your pages, or you can delete a page. Notice I'm not able to delete my main page because I made it the default page. But if I switch if I switch the default page to another page, then I would have the tool here to be able to delete the main page. Okay? There's some tools that you will not be able, or pages that you will not be able to, sometimes you won't be able to delete. And oftentimes it's coursework and gradebook. But I made them deletable for the purposes of this course. Let's go over to permissions. If you click on permissions, this is like the universe of your course. Okay, so I call this, yeah, this is the actual universe of your course. This is showing who has access, who can admin the pages, and everyone here is able to admin their pages. You all are in here as faculty, so I gave you access as faculty, so you can admin. But if I scroll down, I want you to scroll down and take a look in this menu. If you click on students, you'll see that students do not have access to your page. Right? So if I look at my page, I got to find it in this list. I'll see that students will not have access to it. I just got to find it. Oh, there it is. So you see it says no access under Jen B. King. I don't want to give students admin access. That means they can go in and change everything and delete things. That's not what I want. I want them to be able to view. So you want to make sure that the students can view. Okay. Perfect. And that's important. So this is the universe of your course. And if students say, I can't see something, I want you to start here. And remember to scroll down to find the constituent that we're dealing with. And here we're dealing with the student. Now I'm going to exit the course manager. Okay. And now I want to switch my view to students. And you're going to see still, we've given them permission to view. We need to give them access to our page, to the content of the pages. Okay, so I'm going to go back to regular view. And I want everyone to go to their page, and it looks like some of you've already figured this out. Ooh, somebody also likes the royal wedding. Oh, that is so funny, the bad lip reading. That's hilarious. That's a good one. And then if you click on your page in the task, in the navigation pane, I want you to go to, there's two ways to do this. On your page, I want you to come over to the wrench and go to access. Okay, so I'm on the Jen B. King page, a specific page, so I would need to do this for every page of my course. As I add things, add new features, I need to go back always and give students access. I want to click on students here because they're the constituent that I want to change the access for. And it says Jen B. King's page is hidden, so I want to click the slider and make it visible. And now it's updating my permissions. And now I want to go through, and I like this. This is actually a new way that they're doing this. It's a little different than what they used to have. These are all of the portlets that are on my Jen B. King's page. So the page is visible, but notice I don't want them to edit my about myself or my picture, my announcements. I don't want them to manage their bookmarks, but I have a forum on my page. Right now, if you notice, my students cannot add a post. They can't delete and edit their posts. They can't reply to posts, and that's going to be a problem. So I want to click yes and give them permission to do that in my forum.
Jen, I hate to interrupt, but I think we're running into another problem.
Yeah.
This is Carrie, by the way. So, you know how we're all editing a page, but it's your course?
Yeah.
So the system thinks that we're one person editing.
Yeah.
So every time we save, somebody else's page is coming up. So we need to be on a different course or work on our own courses or something, because every time we edit, we've been editing each other's pages, or we save it and somebody else's page comes up, and that's causing a lot of confusion.
Right. So that's interesting. I was wondering if that was happening, because it's not happening on my end, and I think it must be because I'm an administrator, but it's happening to you because you all are faculty and students in the course. So I'm not seeing, if you're getting hiccups out there in the computer lab that I'm just not aware of because I'm not there, I'm wondering if it's because I don't see it because I'm an administrator. And you could be absolutely right. The big part of this is what I want you to note is, here's the take home before we break, take a little break. And that is, anytime you add content, add pages and add features to your pages in your course, you have to give your students access to make those things visible. They will be invisible to them until you give them permission to see it. When we build the template, once we build a McPherson template and we get it, perfect the way we want it to look for your institution, we're going to go in and go to each page and make sure that everything is visible before we allow you to use the template. But that is just that's the take home from this, is that anytime you add content, you have to give your students permission. So, any questions?
Time to stop?
Yes, I think it is. I think it is.
Andy had to leave the room for a while. He's off taking care of some other IT issues.
Okay.
But we ran just a little bit long. Shall we try to be back at right at a quarter till?
Yes, that's when we're supposed to start. We can, yeah. So take a 10-minute break. Let's see. And then we'll start. And you can tell me when everybody's back in the room.
Okay, great.
How about that? All right. I will see you in 10 minutes. You're welcome.
That was actually very interesting. Was that great as the donut? Oh.